Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So last time we were together, we covered the show Katie and Orby. And in this episode, as requested by my best friend Raven, we are going to be covering In the Night Garden. Just like last time, this video will be broken down into 4 topics: characters, story, production, and the end of In the Night Garden. So let's begin. In the Night Garden is a British television show aimed at preschool kids. The show is created by the Teletubbies co-creator, Andrew Davenport. So, if this somehow feels similar to Teletubbies, that's probably why. Of course, to me, this one's better than Teletubbies. In 2004, development started with sketches of Upsy Daisy, Iggle Piggle, and Makka Pakka. A year later, filming would begin. When it came to filming, they filmed in an actual private forest to give that enchanted vibe. This forest is located in Warwickshire, England. Sorry if I said that wrong. Sorry, England. This show aired in 2007 and only ran until 2009, carrying out 2 seasons and 100 episodes. Now, before we cover this show as well as the characters, I'm going to make this one a little bit different compared to Katie and Orby's dive video, because I want to talk about a conspiracy theory that is laced with Into the Night Garden. So prepare yourself, because it does talk about a tough topic. But I'll give another warning before we start. Our main character is Iggle Piggle. We follow him on his boat during the theme and throughout the show, but he is not in every episode. Iggle Piggle is said to be a blue teddy bear. He carries a red blanket and falls on his back often, usually when showing surprised or shocked emotions. Iggle Piggle doesn't speak, but he uses a lot of body parts as communication, such as a bell in his foot, a squeaker in his tummy, and a rattle in his hand. His best friends are Upsy Daisy, Makka Pakka, and the Tombliboos. The Night Garden only actually exists in Iggle Piggle's mind. It's a place where he can go in between falling asleep and being asleep. Andrew Davenport as well said that the inspiration for this show came from his own child dream of wonders. Upsy Daisy is a resident of the Night Garden. She is a rag doll who walks through the garden blowing kisses. Upsy Daisy is a very affectionate character. She is seen hugging and giving kisses to a lot of her friends throughout the garden, as well as us, the viewer. Unlike Iggle Piggle, she can speak, but only a few sentences. She can say Upsy Daisy, Daisy do, and pip pip onk onk. Her way of showing emotions is by her hair, which expands when showing emotions such as surprise, shock, or excitement. Fun fact, in her earlier sketches, she was designed to have a daisy as a head. Makka Pakka is my personal favorite. I once saw this TikTok of somebody who owned the sponge and soap that he carries around, and I will forever be jealous. Makka Pakka is described to be a dog creature. He lives in a cave, he likes to clean rocks, and his friends' faces. Makka Pakka's obsession with rocks is so cute. He likes to create rock sculptures that resemble himself and his friends, and he also sleeps cuddling a rock. He has a bike which holds his soap and sponge, as well as a horn which he uses to dry things. Who needs a hairdryer when you have the uff? He is able to speak as well, saying his name, Mika Maka Moo, Ogpog, which is his bike, by the way, Uff, Aga Paga, Hum Dum, Ing Ang Oo, and Pip Pip Onk Onk, which I'm now learning is how all the characters say goodbye is Pip Pip Onk Onk. So those are the 3 main characters, but this show has a lot of characters that we follow, even things of transportation. We follow them as well. So let's cover them. The Tombliboos are as well doll-like creatures. They are named N, U, and E. Their names are supposed to represent how a child may call the numbers 1, 2, and 3 when they are just learning how to speak. They live inside the branches of a bush. They like to play piano, drums, and with tall building blocks or building bricks. British, I don't know. Their ways of expressing emotion is through their instruments. For example, if they're feeling sad, they will play sad keys on the piano. The Tombliboos are also affectionate creatures who like to hug and kiss. Now inside this house holds 2 families, the Pontypines and the Watteners. The Pontypines and the Wattingers. and the Watchingers. I probably said that wrong. I don't know why for some reason I can't say Watchingers without sounding like an idiot. The Pontypines are mostly the family shown throughout the show, while the Watchingers are rarely shown, but are said to be more shown throughout the second season. The Hahus are 5 balloon creatures who roam in the garden. These creatures were actually created out of latex and floated around the private forest. But in the end scene by the gazebo, they are placed with CGI. They were also 10 feet tall. Speaking of characters around the gazebo, Makapaka is actually smaller compared to all the other characters. Obviously not the Pontypines or the Watchingers, but compared to Iggle-Piggle and Upsy-Daisy. When he is seen in scenes with all the characters around him, or even just some characters who are taller than him, he is actually on a whole different set where they built different heights of Iggle-Piggle, Upsy-Daisy, and the Tombly-Boos because he was so short. But back to the Hahus. Like I said, there are 5 different Hahus: a blue one, an orange one, yellow, purple, and red. I'm not really sure of their purpose, but they're cute and they make squishy sounds when they walk. Next are the Tittifers. Who are CGI birds, who play different instruments when they bow their heads. There are 4 small blue ones, 3 large pink ones, and 2 big green ones, as well as a toucan. These birds sing individually throughout the episode, then all together at the end. The Ninky Nonk is my dream ride personally. Like, who cares about the Polar Express and the Hogwarts train? I want to ride the Ninky Nonk! The Ninky Nonk is a train with 5 different rail cars. The Ninky Nonk is shown to be small, but somehow the characters all are able to fit inside. While creating scenes with the Ninky Nonk, life-size versions of the characters were placed inside a recreated cart, which would be strapped down with seatbelts that would move to make it seem like they were going on bumps and hills. The Ninky Nonk can also drive up tree trunks. It's OP. And lastly, the Pinky Ponk. The Pinky Ponk is a blimp, and it is rideable by all the characters, and also serves these drinks, which as a child, but even now rewatching the show, I want so bad. But the Ninky Nonk is still superior compared to the Pinky Ponk. Because, for one, look at the difference in interiors in the Ninky Nonk. Compared to the interior on the Pinky Ponk. Let's start our analysis of In the Night Garden with the theme song. The night is black and the stars are bright and the sea is dark and deep. But someone I know is safe and snug and they're drifting off to sleep. Round and round a little boat no bigger than your hand, out on the ocean far away from land. Take the little sail down, light the little light. This is the way to the garden in the night. In the Night Garden. The first episode is called Makapaka Washes Faces. Every episode after the theme song, the Ninky Nonk is supposed to ride out of the bush, and then we follow it back into the bush where it is all of a sudden huger than we had just saw. I also wanted to point out how the narrator says, "Oh no, it's the Ninky Nonk." I don't know, I thought it's funny. Just listen to how he says it.
Oh no, it's the Ninky Nonk.
Oh no, it's the Ninky Nonk. We follow the Ninky Nonk into the garden, and eventually we see Iggle-Piggle coming down stone steps. The narrator begins to sing the song, "Yes, my name is Iggle-Piggle." And I would also read out the song of Iggle-Piggle, but there is one word that my brother said sounds a little bit too much like a different word, so instead we're going to let the narrator sing it because he's British, so it sounds better when he does it anyway.
Yes, my name is Iggle-Piggle. Iggle-Piggle, Iggle-Piggle. Yes, my name is Iggle-Piggle. Iggle-Piggle, Iggle-Piggle.
That song was stuck in my head for so long after watching this episode, I'm not even joking. Also, look at how cute Iggle-Piggle is. I want to hug him. We are then brought over to Makapaka's cave. The best character enters the scene, Makapaka. The way he says his name is so cute. Makapaka. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know why I did that. I don't know, should I cut that out? That was kind of stupid. I think I failed to bring up the fact that each character actually has like their own little theme song, because then Macapaka starts playing, and it is called Hello Macapaka. This one is so fun to sing, but I think I'm also probably gonna let the narrator do it as well because I love the narrator.
Maka paka, aka waka, mika maka moo. Maka paka, appa yaka, ika aka oo. Hum dum, aga pang, ing ang oo. Maka paka, aka waka, mika maka moo.
Macapaka then starts his way into the garden, bringing his bike and sponge and soap with him. His bike, by the way, is the Og Pog. Poggers! Overhead, the three pink tittifers start playing their piano chimes. Macapaka goes walking throughout the forest, and you can eventually hear the sounds of Iggle Piggle's chimes as he walks over. When they see each other, they wave cutely, and Macapaka gets his sponge and soap ready. We love a doll who cares about his friend's hygiene. Also, look how small he is! He cleans Iggle Piggle's face, and I want to point out how badly I want to eat that sponge and soap. I know it's a sponge and soap, but like, I want to eat it. The two share a smooch, and eventually you can hear the sound of Upsy Daisy. Upsy Daisy is ironically smelling daisies when we first see her. Her song, Upsy Daisy, Here I Come, begins.
Upsy daisy, here I come. I'm the only upsy one. I'm the only daisy too. Ipsy upsy daisy do.
He spat bars with that one. Although I'm a Macapaka lover at heart, I also do love Upsy Daisy. I had one of her toys as a kid. I'm not sure which one. I think it's this one, but I'm not sure. Upsy Daisy then wants her face cleaned after seeing Iggle Piggle's. So, of course, Macapaka brings out the sponge and soap. I love how Macapaka has to announce when he's cleaning his friends' faces by blowing a little horn he has. After the two's faces are clean, Iggle Piggle and Upsy Daisy are off doing whatever they have to do, and Macapaka is back to roaming the garden. Macapaka is now at the Tombliboo bush. The Tombliboos also have a song, which plays when they pop, and I mean pop, out of the bush. Their song is titled Oomblipoo Toombliboo, or Omblipoo Tombliboo. That one sounds more right.
Omliboo, Tomliboo, knock on the door. Omliboo, Tomliboo, sit on the floor. Omliboo, Tomliboo, here is my nose. Omliboo, Tomliboo, that's how it goes.
After the Tombliboos, we see the toucan, Tittifer, sitting in a tree, which trunk holds the home of the Pontypines and Wantingers. There are 10 Pontypines, and when a bell rings, the 8 children do a dance before the family heads back inside. Macapaka washes their faces, and we see him use the oof oof to dry the family off. This is the first time we see it being used. Despite Macapaka going around and cleaning all of his friends' faces, the Watchingers are not shown in this episode. Their first appearance is in Season 2, Episode 4, The Pontypine Children. Macapaka returns home, and the final face he has to clean is his own. I love how he puts the soap on the ground while he's cleaning faces, because you just know there's dirt on that soap. We are now brought to the Pontypines' home, as they are getting ready for bed. They request a story, and the gazebo begins to spin as an opener. The story is basically a recap of the episode, so this story is about how Macapaka is washing his friends' faces. This is different to how Katie and Orby did their Did You Know segments in their show. At least in The Night Garden, references something they talked about during an episode. Check out my video on Katie and Orby. Pontypines are off to bed, and with them, so is the rest of the Night Guard. Tombliboos look so comfortable in their house, despite all of them sleeping together. But just look at their bed. When I was a kid, however, I wanted Upsy Daisy's bed. I would sleep outside if it meant I got that bed. Macapaka, on the other hand, his bed looks hard as a rock. As the show ends, the lights in the garden turn to stars in the night, and Iggle Piggle is seen floating off to sea, or floating off to sleep. Sorry, 2 in a row was not okay. Now, before we cover the last episode, I want to talk about 2 things. A very popular conspiracy theory, and how the show ended. So, like I said before, there is a bit of a warning here. This theory does include infant death and that sort of thing. So if you are very sensitive to the topic of that kind of theory, I'll include a timestamp of where you can skip to skip this part of the video. One of the links to this article was very concerning. It was from Buzzfeed, but it talked about one, of course, the death of one of the characters, and also Into the Night Garden being about an orgy. That's not what we're talking about today. We're not talking about the orgy, because what the hell. But this theory was one that I did see a lot while doing research. What the hell is in my hair? So I thought that we should talk about it, because when you Google about Into the Night Garden, one of the things that you can press to go down is, how did Iggle Piggle die? The theory talks about how Iggle Piggle is really out on the ocean and dies of dehydration, causing him to hallucinate this world called the Night Garden. Sadly, since Iggle Piggle is a child who is alone at sea, people call this hallucination the infant fantasy, as he is surrounding himself with infant-like toys such as the Hahoos and his friends who are still learning how to speak. To make this theory worse, he wakes up each day to relive his life stuck in the endless waters alone. Now, do I believe this theory? No. In my mind, during the intro to the show, the sea is a child's palm, while Iggle Piggle is the finger who soothes the child to sleep. It is explained during the theme song that the boat itself is no bigger than a child's hand, and it fades into the ocean after the guardian of the child began to soothe them. It has already been stated how the Night Garden is a place in between sleep, so I like to imagine the child is trying to fall asleep and imagines a boat on their hand and this realm of magic. When we see Iggle Piggle sailing away, it's showing how the child fell asleep. But maybe that's just me not wanting to think about the fact that Iggle Piggle is dead. The last episode of In the Night Garden aired March 9th, 2009. In the Night Garden ended because the people behind it only wanted it to have 100 episodes. That's simply it. No cancellation, no loss of rights, just 100 episodes, and that's it. They thought 100 episodes to be enough, especially since it was a child's show that was played mostly before kids went to bed. So having reruns of episodes would not be annoying when children are trying to fall asleep to it anyway. So now let's talk about the last episode. The last episode of the series is titled Fall Down Ball. And in my opinion, this episode was really boring, so. This episode opens with the Pinky Ponk instead of the Ninky Nonk. We watch this thing fly around for way too long with the Tommy Boos inside. But eventually a ball bounces past. This ball bounces around the whole garden, even bouncing past the Tommy Boos when they get dropped off. But the Tommy Boos have no interest in this ball. Instead, they head home, hang up their pants, and go inside to play with their building bricks. British. They build some towers, including a tall tower, but this ball is bouncing around outside, and it hits their bush, causing the tall tower to fall. They then go on to build an arch, but just like last time, the ball bounces on their bush and knocks the arch over. So they decide to go outside and play with the ball, saving themselves the headache of building things just so it can get knocked down. As the episode comes to an end, all the characters are seen at the gazebo for the final time, including the Watchingers. Edit Macca. The characters are off to bed, but we can't forget their story. This time we watch as the Tommy Boos are the ones off to bed first. And this story is about the structures they built and how the ball destroyed it. This show will always have a special place in my heart, and getting to rewatch this show again has made my days feel so much better. I find myself referencing this show often and also watching the 2-hour compilations as background noise. I can still fall asleep to this show to this day. All the sources will be linked in the description below. Let me know what I should cover next time, and goodbye!